Hi everyone, happy February. I know it's a rough month. It's a really rough month for me. It's slow, it's freezing, our skin is peeling off of our face. It's a short month. There's not really anything exciting going on in the month of February. And I think that we're all kind of in an odd place. I don't know if you feel the same way. I just feel like every day it's 8 p.m. in Alaska. It's just how I feel in February. But I'm trying to stay positive despite all of what I just said. But I am trying to stay positive and, kind of put some pep in my step for the good of all of us. But I figured since I owe you guys a message. I haven't really sent you a message in a while. I figured now would be a good time for me to address sort of a subject that comes up very frequently, almost every day of my life. And that is this. So this is our business card, and this is our logo, and this is our business name underneath, and then our slogan, and the back is cool too. Sort of cool effect we have going here. My brother is my graphic artist and web designer, and he did a really great job with these cards. So many of you have these cards in your home or in your wallet, and some of you have, them in magnet form or bumper sticker form, and I appreciate any advertising you do for us. It's really cool to drive around and see your bumper sticker on someone's car. It's a really cool thing. So thanks. But the question that comes up on the regular is, Kate, what is your logo? What is it and why is it? I guess, how did it come to be? So I would like to address this, and there's kind of a cool story behind it. Well, I think it's cool, and I'd like to share it with you. So in 2011, I had been teaching a lot of my own private students that I had gotten over the years through word of mouth. Thank you for all of you who've been around for a while. You're the reason that we're in business, so I appreciate that. And I was really lucky to have, pardon me, my students come through word of mouth. So when I wanted to officially make a business, and I brought on more teachers, and, we were all friends for a while, so it just sort of seemed like a really organic process. I talked to my brother. I said, I need a website, I need this, I need that, and, now he's my go-to guy for promotional items and, anything we need for the business. Our holiday card every year, he designs, and we work on it together, and he does a really great job. So I said to him, I don't even know where to begin. And he said, well, first of all, you need to make a brand. He said, you need to have a logo to sort of set everything up. And you build everything else around the logo. And I said, well, I don't even know where to begin to make a logo. I'm a musician. I'm certainly not a business person by nature, but, you learn as you go along. And at this point, I had no idea. And my only qualification for the logo was that it not be cheesy. And that's what I said to him, which I know is not very specific. I said, I really don't want a cheesy music logo. You see a lot of music logos, they're very cheesy. It's like a dancing treble clef or something. It's really bad. So I said to him, it's got to be cool, it's got to be me, and it's got to be something interesting. I said, I want people to look at this logo and be like, oh, what is that? And I got what I wished for, because I've gotten everything from jackhammer to animal skull, digestive organs. I don't think people really have any idea what this is and why it's there. But, my brother said to me, think of something that is representing you and your story and why you're doing what you're doing. I said, okay. So I thought about it. And here's the story. The story is, a lot of you know that when I was just out of college, which was in 2006, I had some very serious hand ailments, and still do. It isn't over. It hasn't gone away, but it's certainly. I can't even explain really how much better it is than it was about 8 years ago. So at this time, I was a recent music school grad. Everybody in my life who was important to me at the time was doing wonderful things with their music careers, and I wasn't really doing anything. I was working a lot of really odd jobs that I didn't like, and just trying to figure out what I was doing, and kind of figuring it out as I went along. And then I started teaching and found out that I really loved teaching, and and little by little I built a studio. And thankfully, I can't really even imagine my life now without teaching, which is a really, really cool thing to have discovered. But it was hard, and I tried everything. Every kind of doctor appointment you could imagine, every home remedy, everything. And I was out of ideas. And I have a very good friend who's originally from Taiwan. Her name is Yowei, and she and I met in music school. And she said to me, I don't know if we were out having dinner or something, and I'm telling her how upset I am. I don't know what to do, and my hands, I can't play anything. They're numb and they hurt, and all of this. And she said to me, well, why don't you try acupuncture? And she knew a lot about acupuncture because of, growing up in Taiwan, and her dad and brother were both acupuncturists. So she said, why don't you just try it? And at that point, I was desperate and had nothing to lose. So I said, all right, I'll try it. So I went to Jenny Lynn of Monmouth Acupuncture, and the first session, I felt better. The first session. Now, when I arrived to that first session, I'll give you a quick preface. Like, this hand, the right hand, my fingertips were completely numb. Here, this was kind of numb. These fingers were all tingly, but my almost my entire hand was numb. Couldn't feel anything, to the point where I would cut myself. I didn't even know I was cut. I couldn't feel anything. And I checked. There was no nerve damage at that time, so I don't know what the deal was. It's really a mystery. But anyhow, that night after the session, I was driving home, and this hand started to hurt. I hadn't even felt the hand in 8 months. It was 2 years overall that I couldn't really play any instruments, but it was 8 months that this hand was numb, and on the drive home, it started to hurt. And it was incredible. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe it. So it made me a believer at that point. And then I went back every week, and then little by little, after a couple months, then it was every other week, and then it was once a month, and then it was just, when I had flare-ups, and I felt great. Now, I feel okay. It's not great now, and I think as I'm getting a little older, and it's cold now, it's really bad when it's cold. It's hard. It's really hard. But compared to where I was, I'm in a great place. So I can play. That's the most important thing. I can play music, and I can gig, and I can teach, and it's great. But that kind of brought me to where I am now in my life, in the sense that I started doing a lot of research on Eastern philosophy and Eastern culture. And a lot of I study and read and practice Buddhism on a regular basis. And that's because of this experience. I learned a lot about Eastern culture, and it made me really throw myself into it. Now it's just a way of life. It's just how I live my life, is through the philosophies that I've learned because of the door being open, because of acupuncture. So it's a really special thing. The path has kind of brought me to where I am now in my life now with teaching and Eastern philosophy and yoga and a bunch of stuff. Like, that's my life. Like, that is what my life is. And if all of this stuff didn't happen, I wouldn't be living this life. I don't really even know what kind of life I would be living. It doesn't really matter because it's far away from here. But the whole point of the story is that I needed to design a logo that represented me and represented my journey, so to speak, and how this business came to be. So in the background is, as some of you know, the musical staff, which is made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces, and that's how, we all read music for every instrument. So this is a hand-drawn outline of an elephant head. And in Buddhism and Asian culture, the elephant is a very strong representation of 3 very important things. And that is intelligence, strength, and patience. And the Buddhists believe that the earth is actually a turtle shell that's resting on top of 4 elephants. That's how strong they are, to be able to hold up the entire earth. So when I think about being a musician and I think about the characteristics and the qualities that a person has to possess, no matter what, in order to be a good musician, it's these 3 qualities that exist in elephants, and that's intelligence, that's strength, and that's patience. You have to not only be intelligent to play music well, it helps you to become more intelligent. You have a minimum of 7 things you're doing at once. You're reading notes, you're reading rhythm, you're reading dynamics, you're reading articulation, you're trying to play with some musicality, you're doing 2 things at once with hands. Depending on what instrument you're playing, your hands are doing 2 things at once all the time. Sometimes your feet. Minimum 7 things at once. And that's why music kids do a really good job with reading comprehension. They read an excerpt or a piece, and they're able to pick out more things in the piece because of the fact that they play music. They can pay attention to more things at once because they're used to doing that. And it I can go on and on and on, and I have to a lot of you, but it expands your mind in many ways that sometimes you won't even see until later. Intelligence. So strength. You have to be strong to be a good musician, because if you're working hard and you're practicing and you have a teacher, there is going to be times, there are going to be times when people are telling you that you're not doing a good job, that you're not working hard enough. And there are going to be a lot of times that you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And if you are not a strong person, you're not going to get through that. You have to be strong. You have to push through, and you have to say to yourself, how hard could this be? If you have the mental capacity to process it, you can do it if you're strong. Because it's easy to be a quitter, as we've said before, right? It's easy to quit. It's not easy to be strong. So, strength. And then finally we have patience. And my adult students and the parents of my child students say to me, Kate, I don't know how you have the patience to do this. I don't get it. And we laugh about it and stuff, but if I can be patient with myself for the last 25 years of playing music, sometimes well, sometimes horribly, if I can have the patience to deal with myself, I can deal with anybody. I can deal with my students. And not only deal, but welcome their mistakes and really take joy in guiding them in the right direction. So, you know, as your teacher, I'm gonna do my best, I promise, to be patient with you, but you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to understand it's not gonna happen in one day, and it's not gonna happen in 1 year even. We always say this is a long-term investment, both financially and mentally and emotionally. So patience. Anything worth doing didn't happen in one day. So those are the things that the elephant represents, in everything that I stand for, and things that good musicians possess, the qualities that they have, and along with the whole foundation of music, which is the staff. That's where our logo was cultivated, I suppose. So the next time you look at this and you say, oh, I have no idea what that is, you know, I hope that you'll be directed to this video, and then the next time that you hand this card to someone and they say, what is that? Is that the small intestines? No, it's an elephant, and it represents intelligence and strength and patience, and that's all good stuff, whether you're a musician or not. It's all good stuff. So that's the story, Morning Glory, and I hope that it was cool for you to listen to it, because it's cool for me to share it, and I hope that you're all staying warm as you can, and I can feel spring coming. I feel it. So it has to come at some point, right? Or will it just be 100 degrees in 3 weeks, and then that's it? I guess we'll see. So stay warm, stay safe, be well, and we will talk soon.